Ready? Wow. Okay. What a beautiful day, right? The sun is up. So this is going to be like a small vlog about something that I was questioning with. Also, I'll start by saying off that the first $1,000 that I made off of my business, I can say for a fact that it literally changed the mindset, right? Of course, I didn't have it like 3 months later. I didn't have that money, but it changed the way I thought about money. You know, it's one thing to read a concept, you understand it, right? You read something about, that money is not something that you should be fearing. But the moment you start losing money, your mindset shifts. There's that mindset shift. There's doubt. Doubt is born in survival. That's why Mike Tyson once said that everyone has plans until they are punched in the face, right? So I had lots of plans, I had lots of ambition, lots of things that I would have done with that money. But here's the thing. The first crucial thing that I would recommend for anyone who is just starting out is that try as much as you can to do your research and investment, right? Because you're going to get money. That's not even something to debate about. You're going to get really big money, especially if you have a business that can scale up, like trading, crypto, whether it's a business like YouTube, whatever, right? You're going to make money, that's guaranteed, right? But the issue that you have is investment. So you have to learn investment right from the go, right? Of course, now sometimes it can be vice versa. Sometimes you may first focus on the business until it grows, then it starts bringing in revenue, and then after you start investing. But the truth is, that's really the case. Let's look back to the year 2015, right? That's the year Bitcoin started to skyrocket in price, right? So in 2015, if you had, like, say, a business and you heard about Bitcoin, right? So what would come into your mind? What would be the next idea that could pop up in your head, right? You'd be like, maybe it's a scam. Maybe let me first grow my business. When it grows up, then I'll invest. That's the mistake, right? You have to first of all learn about these investments. Learn about as much as you can about most of these, because in the next 5 years, most people in the next 5 years, they underestimate what they can do in the next 10 years, right? The next 10 years, you can be someone totally different from what your past 10 years were. So you have to be very vigilant. Okay, so you have to be very, very vigilant, because what happens in most of the cases is that in the next 10 years, whenever I was thinking about this, I never really gave that much thought to the next 10 years. Why is that so? Because when you think about it, it's really not something that you can estimate. It's important. You can't really estimate how much you can do in 10 years, because there are so many things that can pop up within the time frame. But you have seen so far that the biggest investors, the people who took the risk when everything seemed uncertain, look at the people who held Bitcoin from 2015 up to now. Right now, there will be geniuses, right? There will be people who had the heart. So you can't teach someone having heart, right? That's not something that you can teach. You may have all these courses online. I'll take an example. Let's say, for instance, Bali in 20 2014, let's say 2014, there was a guru, but that guru was giving out information. They're giving out information on how to make money, maybe online, right? So this guru is selling this course, teaching people how to make money. So he lands on Bitcoin. He tells these guys, hey, I found, if this guy let's just say that our guru is a genuine person, right? He wants you to succeed. So he tells you, you know what? Please buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin at this price and hold for next 5 years. Of course, now someone will think and say, but why the fuck should I invest in a coin that's not even worthwhile of investing in? Right? And then this guru will tell you that you never know what could happen. Just hold this Bitcoin. For the next 5 years, it may be something different. And so early buyers come in with the aim of making some small profit. So they come into the market, they buy aggressively. But after like maybe let's say 1 year, Bitcoin price drops from its initial 200 where they bought at $200, it drops up to 198. So these people, they panic. They sell off their crypto because they panic a lot. They be like, price is likely to drop, so they panic and sell off, right? So once these people panic, they close out. Maybe let's say they have some debt to pay, right? Maybe let's say they make like $1 million, so they close out their positions, right? And then after they close out their positions, they just relax. They be like, whatever may happen will happen. They just close out and they just take a step back, right? But what happens in the meantime is that Bitcoin now starts aggressively buying. It goes up to $1,000, and they're like, what the fuck did I miss out? Their guru, the one who saw long term, he's holding, right? He's holding. He has been through the same process, so he knows that if he's to gain profit long term, he has to. So as I was saying, their guru holds the coin because he has been through this process. He has lost money. He has learned that to make money long term, you have to be patient. You have to let go of all the assumptions that you have of that trade, right? So their guru, he has accepted the risk, right? He has accepted the risk, therefore he lets the market do his thing. After like 1 or 2 years, he just lets the market be. After the 3rd year, the 4th year, their guru is so rich. And then these people will come back to him and say, what did you do that we did miss? He tells them, you are scared, which is normal, but it won't make money in the long term. Okay, so we're back at my place. So I was saying that their guru will tell them that being scared is good for the short term. You close your profits, you feel good, you made some buck, but in the long term, it's going to affect your results. If every setup that I sent to you guys, you try to overthink it. See, the market depends on your doubt. The market it really loves your doubt. It really loves pushing against you, right? Once it goes against you, like some people can't stomach the fact that they can lose their entire funds in that account. That's why you find someone who has placed a stop loss, but they don't really want the market to hit that stop loss. Inside their head, they really, really don't like the fact that they're going to lose that money. And it affects their performance, because the issue is, if I'm in a market, if I'm in a trade, right, and I'm really just scared of every single tick that the market makes, I'm really not going to be performing at my level best, because first of all, my execution will be off. Secondly, I'll likely have a hard time actually closing out when it's time to close, and also my profits will be short-lived. So what I would recommend instead is that instead of, if you have a small account, don't try to put such big lots, because big lots will just simply blow your account and you wouldn't have learned anything. So I recommend that if you start with a small account, let's say of $1,000, and you want to grow it, the only thing that can be holding you back is maybe your emotions. First, remove the emotions by trading small, right? That's the first advice that most people receive, but they don't take it. Most people want the hyped life. They want to turn that $1,000 into $100,000 in just a single day. Very possible thing, but I mean, like, the high chances that you're going to blow that account, right? There's a high chance that you're going to blow that account. And if you can't stomach the fact that you can blow $1,000 in a single day, then you're not meant for that trading. As simple as that. You're not meant for trading that pair at that given time. Maybe you have to like take a step back, reevaluate what it can apply to any business. Let's say you start off a business which sells furniture, right? So it can happen that there's a season whereby no one buys your stuff and you are incurring costs like on electricity, the rent of the place. You're incurring these costs constantly. They are constant. They're not like if you don't get customers, they will cut off their costs. No, it's constant, right? So the issue is that when people come to trading, I think I tended to think back in the day that trading is one of those things that is like risk free. Like I always tried to make sure that every trade was risk free, and I think it affected my performance a lot because there isn't such a thing as risk free. Everything carries an inherent risk. When you're alive, you carry the risk that you will die. There's a risk that it's not even a risk. It's just a facet. Like how can I call it? A facet is like you know that coin that has the head and tail, right? So you can't have the if that coin is really a coin, the essence of a coin, you can't have a head without a tail on that coin. So it's like you can't win without losing. It's counterproductive. And actually, people who try to whenever I try to win all the time and never accept my losses, I actually sabotaged my growth because by trying to make everything be perfect, I was actually sabotaging my mistakes. I was sabotaging the mistakes that needed fixing. So it took me a long time to actually get to that point where I can make like $1,000 in a single day. But also, I was blowing money that I was needing. So to be honest with you, I think for anyone who is just starting out, I recommend that you start with small account. Don't start with $10,000 in your account. No, start with a small account. Start with $100. Start with $10 because it will help a lot with your psychology. I'd recommend that if let's say you earn like $10,000 per month, right? If you are at a job which pays you $10,000 per month, you are actually ahead of 90% of the traders because most of them start off with very little money. All right. So if you earn $10,000 per month on your job, I'll recommend that you first of all cut off. Of course, some people have responsibilities. They have family. They have car insurance. They have. So you may find that someone earns 10K, but at the end of the day, they're taking home like 2K. It's very possible. It's very possible. So you take that amount that you're earning, that 2K, that extra 2K, put it into your trading account, right? And then you practice. Go to your demo account, be practicing on that. Be practicing, gain that skill set, right? So the next month you also deposit back. But now here's the crucial fact. Once you start doing this over and over again, you accumulate enough money to start trading full time. And that's what all people want. People want their freedom to be, but not people don't understand what they want actually. You may see someone online, they market you, they sell to you like this lifestyle, and people buy into lifestyle all the time. We're always attuned to wanting more out of life. We're always attuned to wanting something more. We think we're not enough, right? So people will be advertising on you, their lifestyle, and all that. It's up to you to either take that as a motivation or to take it as something to put you down. That I'm not yet there. No, I want you to look at it as a motivation that if this person is able to make it, I'm also 100% able to make it. All right. So just to make it a little bit simpler for you guys, I think I will start. Let me first start explaining something very brief, right? So when I was starting out with trading, this can apply to any business model that you have in mind. But when I was starting up with trading, I usually held the inherent belief. Okay, this is an inherent belief, something that you just adapt from others, something that you copy from others, right? I had this belief that trading would be that one thing that whereby if you take $10 to $10,000, you're set for life. You quit your job and then, I was drifting between job and job because I never understood the fact that it takes heart to actually hold these trades. It takes heart. By taking heart, I mean that it takes you to be able to apply the knowledge that you know without always having to be validated, okay, by a single setup failing or winning. So the thing with trading is that there's so many facets to it, there's so many aspects to it, but at the end of the day, the market either buys or sells. That's the thing. It's only our job as traders to look for those areas where there's a likelihood that price will continue in the direction that we want it to go. So to bring the point home, if you have $0 to your name right now, I recommend that you start first of all with working on yourself. First, work on yourself first of all. Don't try to chase the money. Don't try to like quit your job or do freelance. First work on yourself. Like mentally, you can do meditations. You can do. There's so many aspects that you can do, right? But first focus on yourself, and then when you're done focusing on yourself, make that as your first priority. Make yourself the first priority, because what happens in most of the cases, we give our power away, right? When I was starting trading, I usually had this euphoria that if I'm to be a profitable trader, every trader has to work out. This was the mindset that I was having, and I didn't know any better. Everyone around me, all the frail friends that I had, they all had the same thing going on in their minds, that to be profitable, because we used to watch like YouTube videos of these guys who took like $10 into $10,000, maybe like $5 into $100, all that stuff. And it affected us because we never knew anything better than that. We never knew that you grow along the process. It's not that you just want a $10 immediately or the $100. No, you grow along the process. That's the first facet of the issue, right? So I grew along the process, but I can hopefully say that every step of the journey was worthwhile, because I can't really like explain to you what $100 did to me and losing it did to me, right? But I can say for a fact that it helped me push even the boundaries of what I thought was unattainable. When I made half my monthly salary in a single day, my mindset shifted, bro. My mindset shifted a lot, because the moment you start making big money in forex, even though it's not big, if you're at a job and you're making half of what you make in a month in a single day, you can't stay the same. Some people, for the first, I think, I remember that day very well. I made half of my monthly salary. Actually, not even half. I think it was like 3/4 of my monthly salary in a single day, and it has shifted. Actually, it shifted my whole perception on money, my whole perception on work. It shifted everything for me, because I thought to myself, if I'm able to make half my 3/4 of my salary in a single day, what in the world will be stopping me from making this full time, right? What in the world will be stopping me from making this full time? Because at the end of the day, everyone wants money. People don't actually. So there are very few people who ignore the fact that they want money. They hide under this mask of, oh, I have to put in work. Oh, I have to do this. But at the end of the day, we all want money. For me, I want money at the end of the day. Okay, so I don't really care what I do to get the money, as long as I get the money. That's the major point. Of course, now there are ethical boundaries. There are so many things, the values, the integrity, all that. But what I'm trying to say is that people, when I was just starting out, I thought I wanted money, but what I needed was patience, right? I needed patience to realize that this takes time, and it's going to be okay as I grow along the journey. It's going to be okay to fail along the journey. It's going to be okay to blow accounts. It's going to be okay to like get stressed out. It's going to be okay to feel like nothing is working out. All this was what I signed up for when I took out forex trading, and this mindset shift happened just because of that one. Of course, I was reading books before. I was reading like motivation stuff, all these self-help books. But the major point that shifted everything was when I made that 3/4 of my salary in a single day. It shifted a lot because it made me realize that money was not what I thought it was. People were actually making money from the markets. Someone was really sitting down and making what I make in a year in a single day. Someone was really sitting down in the charts and taking the risk to make what I make in 5 years. If I'm to work at this job at this normal rate of if I'm to get the same monthly salary for 5 years, someone was making that in a single month. It shifted a lot in my mind, because how can someone be making that much money? If they can do that, I can also do it. That's my mindset when I was starting out, that if so and so is able to make this amount of money when they're trading, from trading alone, and they're able to do it consistently, there's no way I cannot do it. there is no fucking way that I cannot do it, because at the end of the day, whatever they're applying, it's applicable. It's not like rocket science whereby you have to have like a bachelor's degree in computer science and some weird, some course like computer science or no, no, no. These people are just analyzing the markets and they were taking trades and holding. So it's like, first, wait, hold on a minute. You're telling me that someone places a trade, they hold it for a few minutes or for a few hours or whatever, 4 days or whatever, and then at the end of the day they get paid? Is that it? It shifted a lot because you see, when you go on YouTube, when you're on YouTube, when someone is on YouTube and you're watching these videos of people who are flipping accounts, most people actually just get jealous and they say, if you go to the comment sections of those videos, you will find people who are hating, people who feel insecure about the fact that someone is making more than they make. There are so many reasons why people feel insecure, of course, but for me, the mindset that I've always carried is that getting jealous is just a part of the process. I will get jealous, of course, that you have something I don't have, but at the end of the day, I want to know how did you get that thing. Trading, for instance, was something that I learned from a friend. I saw this guy was making like he was on a demo account, but he was making like $10, $15 in just a few seconds, a few minutes, and I was like, if someone is able to make this money, I can also do it. So I asked this guy, I told him, you know what, first teach me as much as you can about forex, and let me do this thing. And it just started from there. We went from we were working at this job paying us like very little cash, but working there, I met this cool guy. He taught me everything about forex. By then, I was only learning like binary options, right? But the guy gave me an insider tips on how to trade forex. He recommended some people, all that, and it really changed my mind. I'll say for a fact that trading really changed the way I perceived money. It changed even the way I thought of the things that it changed the way I thought things were possible. Of course, I'm not this holy angel. I've done so many things that hurt other people, unfortunately, but I really forgive myself, because there was this guy who gave me his account. I asked him money to trade, but then I blew that money. So yeah, there's so many emotions, of course, attached to it, but at the end of the day, I know that I'm hoping for the best for these people who I hurt. Like, I'm really hoping the best for them. I'm really giving my blessings to them, because these are people who had their cash. They wanted to use that money maybe for something, but I took it and I used it up. So I really pray that the universe reward them. They're so kind to me. Anyways, back to my point. So if you are on YouTube, you're watching these videos, people flipping $5 into, like, for example, there's Sejex on YouTube. We have ColorFX, all these Zimbabwe traders, right? So you see them flipping small accounts into huge amounts. Let's say for Sage, you can flip like maybe cents into thousands of dollars. At the time, he flipped 0.85 into something like $4,000. So once you do something like this, you think to yourself, what exactly am I doing wrong that this person is doing? Most people don't even think about it. They see the 0.18 and then to 5,000, and then they be like, The way my mindset shifted once I made 3/4 is that I shifted from someone who was trying to make money to someone who actually made money. And that shift in personality, that shift in identity is what actually made me make money consistently. Because every time I came into the market, I knew what I was looking for, I knew where to exit, and I also knew the mindset that I had to have to make money. So whenever I came to a market, I was telling to myself, you know what? Let's say I put like $100 into the account. I would say to myself, this money that is in the market right now, the worst possible thing that can happen is that I lose this money. And then the worst possible thing maybe that could happen is that I would have to explain to the people, maybe or to my mother or my dad or whatever. I have to explain to these people that I've lost this amount. That's the worst thing that can happen, because when I was starting out, I always had this fear that what would happen if I fell in trading. All my friends that gone to university, there so much uncertainty actually, because I had zero savings, to be honest. I had zero savings in the account, but I never let that put. reality is just an illusion. You can create reality, as many realities as you want, because we know that reality is not real. There are so many versions of it. Everyone has the way they see things that's different. So you may find someone who gets pissed off at someone speaking evil about them, and you find another person who is spoken of badly, but they remain their presence, their sense of self, right? So everyone has a way of seeing their things, right? So I've always come from the I've always come from the perspective that even though we think we know everyone, it's not like we really do know everyone, right? Back to my point. So for YouTube, if you go to YouTube and see these people flip small accounts, I would say to myself, if this guy is able to flip like these small amounts into big amounts, perhaps if I give him my account and he flipped it to some big amount, my life will change. Now that's the catch. The catch is that you want your life to change in a few minutes. Your life can change in a few seconds actually. Someone can just come out of nowhere and they gift you $1 million, you know. But the good thing with that is that since you have already had the mindset of what to do with $1 million, you won't let it go as fast as someone who never had any mindset behind it. So you see that the importance of cultivating an investor mindset, the importance of cultivating and working on yourself is that you gain an advantage when the luck comes in your lap. You do the work, and then the lap is filled up with blessings. So many blessings come into your life. There are people who are coming into your life right now. There are people who are waiting for you. Actually, they're not even waiting for you. They are there, actually. They're living side by side with you. Maybe they can be separated in distance, maybe like by continents. But these people, they are there. They are going to support you along your journey. Why? Because once you send out an intention of getting rich, of being rich, the intention of having lots of money, of having $1 million, of having thousands of dollars in your bank account, that intention won't go unnoticed. You see, most people ignore this. They think that once they maybe pray or they wish for something, it has to materialize maybe. It's their belief of what that thing is that causes them to miss the entire point. The entire point is not to become someone, but it is to be that someone that you admire. If you admire to be like maybe a good speaker, practice it, not in the mind that I don't have it, but in the mind that you already are, and you're just repeating what you have already done to become there, right? So that's the importance of I'll be talking more about this manifestation and stuff, but I'll just recommend that you start off with the resources that you have. You don't need to have like an iPhone 17 Pro Max to start off your journey as maybe a content creator. I don't really need you to have these extravagant ideas of what it means, right? You have to be resourceful. For me, the first thing I learned is that I had to be resourceful, very resourceful actually. I had to make the most out of the few things that I had, whether it's a pen, whether it's a book, whether it's a tablet, whether it's what. I have to make the most out of it, because it's the way of generating more and more and more. It's putting yourself out in the world that matters, because at the end of the day, no one will really know your name. If you are the best musician that the world has ever known, but you don't practice in front of thousands, no one will know your name. We have seen this a lot. You know, we have football, basketball, we have all these different areas, and people are not putting themselves out enough. We have social media, people are not putting themselves out enough. We have social media, people are looking for talent. People are looking for talent nowadays. There's so many opportunities. You know, I was talking to some investor the other day. We talked about the fact that there are so many things in the world to invest in right now than it was 50 years back, right? So there's so many opportunities that are coming up. They are uplifting lots of generations. People are moving out of their people are moving out of their parents' house. They are building houses, mansions. They are creating better lives for themselves because they are employing these ideas. But it requires an open mind, right? It requires an open mind. That's why I would recommend that if you are to start again, for me, if I was to start again and have zero, I would always make sure that every single day at least I make a video where I am that person that I want to be. Let's say I want to be a millionaire. I would make a single video per day at least, being in that state of a millionaire. How would the millionaire speak? How would they articulate their words? How would they speak to an audience? What will motivate them to be free? Okay, so that freedom is what will push you to even make big money. We have it backwards, that the more money you have, the more confident you get. No, we have seen people who have they may have the spiritual, they may have the physical, but they may not have the spiritual aspect of the money, because the spiritual aspect means that you're already content, you have the essence of money within you before it even shows up physically. That's what most people miss. Most people are really waiting for that money to appear, then they will think to themselves that, hey, if I get this money, then I'll be someone. No. You already are someone. You already are. There's nothing much that's going to change once you get the money. You're going to be the same you. You're going to have the same habits. You're going to have the same car. Maybe you may change cars and stuff, the physical, but the inside is going to be the same. The money won't change you. It may even just magnify your inside, right? So if you're a good person, if you give out to charity, if you whatever you consider as good, that essence is going to be brought about if you have even the more resources to share the love to others people. So I think that's basically the whole point. But your purpose, it's only you that can discover your purpose. There's no one who can like put you down and tell you that, hey, do this and this and this and this and this and this and this to achieve this and 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 this. No one can do that for you. It's only you that can know your purpose, right? And I think even the term purpose is even overrated, because we all have very different goals, we have different ambitions, we have different purposes. What matters is who you are. Okay, just understand who you are, then everything else will fall into place. Because lots of time, when I was starting out, like trading, finding jobs, I was always caught up with the mentality that it was always outside of me, as though the world was always first outside, then it came inside me. No, the observe the observer the observer, me who was observing, and the world itself, they're the same. But you can, of course, now this can be like voodoo stuff, but just to keep the point home, just to get the point home, first know who you are. Try as much as you can to meditate. Meditation that doesn't even take like 10 minutes, shouldn't take like 5 minutes or 100 minutes. No, you can just meditate for 1 minute, and then you are good for the day. Only 1 minute can change your life if you do it consistently. Only 1 minute. And most people think that it has to be this long ass meditation, 10 hours, 15 hours. No, 1 minute is enough. You can even just do it. Just meditate on something. Maybe your breath. You breathe in, you breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Just continue doing that like for 1 minute, and you call it a day. Just cut the meditation that, hey, I've done one meditation. Cool. You will pick up interest as the journey goes on, because it's not something that you can force. You can't force anyone to do meditations. Actually, that's what I've realized. You can force them to be still, but you can't force them to meditate, right? Anyways, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.